Edsall.
Here.
Vice Chair Talmadge present, and Chairman Murphy.
Present. Looks like we're all here. Nice to see that. Commissioner Edsall, could you please lead us in the flag salute this evening?
Yes, I will. You gonna post the flag, Joe? You don't have that on the screen tonight? Okay.
Yes, it's on. It's projecting.
Oh, okay. Okay, put your hand over your heart and join after me. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United
States of America
and to the
republic
for which
it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all. Thank you, Commissioner Edsall.
Thank you.
Okay, we're on item 4 already for this meeting. That is the review of the minutes of our last meeting, which took place on May 5th, 2020. We've all had an opportunity to review the minutes. Does anyone have any questions, comments on those minutes? Like a show of hands.
I'm good with approve the minutes of May 5th, 2020, as submitted in the packet.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Edsall, seconded by Commissioner Vandermeulen to approve the minutes. Let's go ahead and vote on that. Ms. Vandermeulen?
Aye.
Approve.
Mr. Espinosa?
Approve.
Mr. Edsall?
Approve.
Vice Chair Talmadge?
Approve.
And I approve as well. They pass 5-0. Okay, item 5 is public comments. This is the time where anyone from the public may come forth and participate in this meeting and talk about an item that's not on the agenda. Mr. Secretary, do we have anyone who has called in or wants to participate for that reason?
No, we did not receive any requests for public comments on items that are not on the agenda.
All right, thank you. Then we'll go ahead and close the public comment and move into item 6, which is the public hearing for CUP-404, Damley, LLC. May we have a staff report on that, please?
Yes, thank you. So we're going to have a presentation from Sam Dominguez on this item.
Good evening, Chair Murphy and fellow planning commissioners. This conditional use permit is for Damley, LLC, a proposed winery in an existing industrial building. The proposed winery is located at 3201 Corte El Paso, Suite 310, on the north side of the cul-de-sac on Corte El Paso in the Toll Center Business Park. Damley LLC is requesting approval of a conditional use permit for a winery within an existing 1,778 square foot industrial space within the light manufacturing zone. A tasting room is not being requested as part of this CUP. The applicant currently operates a research and chemical testing lab at the site known as West Coast Separations. However, he is proposing to transition the business into the new winery. Damley LLC would produce approximately 1,000 cases of wine per year through a process which will consist of the fermentation of must, yeast, and sugar to produce the wine that will be bottled and packaged on site for online distribution. The proposed hours of operation for the facility are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The floor plan includes areas for warehouse, operations, reception, restroom, and office space. The 1,778 square foot winery requires a total of 4 parking spaces. The remaining uses in the business park include office uses at 1 parking space per 250 square feet and industrial uses at 1 parking space per 500 square feet. The total parking required in the center, including Damley LLC, is 237 parking spaces. The existing business park provides 247 shared spaces on site, resulting in a surplus of 10 parking spaces with the proposed winery. The project was reviewed in accordance with CEQA and was determined to be categorically exempt under Class 1 existing facilities. Staff recommends approval of the proposed CUP subject to the conditions of approval. The action of the Planning Commission is final unless an appeal is filed within 10 days of the date of their action. And this concludes staff's report.
Sorry, Tom, you're muted.
Sorry, you would think I'd know by now how to work these things. Thank you, Mr. Dominguez, for the presentation and for working on this application. Do we have any questions from the commissioners for staff on this? Mr. Talmadge, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you. I think it's implicit in the wording, but the sales of wine is internet sales or something, not off the floor, and there's no open to the public consumption of wine on the premises. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, Commissioner. It is for online sales only. So there would be no customers coming to the location. There would be no open doors. There will be no tasting room whatsoever.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other questions from commissioners with a show of hands? Ms. Vandermeulen, go ahead, please.
Can't see if my hand's in the right place or not.
It was.
I just had a question, and it's kind of a learning question for me. When they talk about the amount of ABC licenses for this census tract, is there like a limit that they allow for that census tract? I take it, since they didn't say anything negative about it, that we're within that, but...
That's correct. So usually within each census tract, based on the population, they have a certain number, and once it gets to the tipping point, they say that it exceeds a threshold where we would have to make a finding that there's a public convenience and or necessity. And I didn't recognize the need to do that in this instance, so we're still below the threshold.
Okay. Thank you for that information.
Mr. Espinosa, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, this might be sort of an applicant question, but I was curious as to how the sales, if there's already an established clientele, or how they actually get the word out about their product and moving it to online sales. Do they have like maybe a combined joint tasting at some other remote location where people can actually sample the product, or how is it that they're getting, the word out about what they're doing and what they have available to sell?
That is a good question. I think we would have to table that and let the applicant answer that. And the applicant is available and will be ready to answer that after the staff answers any other questions for the commission.
Okay.
That's great. Thank you. Do we have any other questions by the commissioners for staff on this item?
Well, it looked like it was pretty well kind of tucked away and out of the way, and it's actually, the back of it is like kitty corner from the Cousin's Baskets or whatever it is. So it looks like it's in a great location for what they're doing. So.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other comments, questions? I'm sorry, questions for staff on this item from the commissioners? No, then I'll go ahead and open public testimony, and I understand we have a applicant representative here to answer any questions from an applicant perspective tonight. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. If we can please make sure they're available now to participate via Zoom.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Everyone else?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So our plan, what we've been doing so far when we were doing this in the house, we basically have been giving it to friends and families. And basically, that's how we plan to get the word out. So, because there's no wine tasting around here, so that's what we've been doing. We've been doing that over the years for quite a while, and just wanted to go commercial. That's why we applied for the CUP.
Okay. Thanks for coming. Are you Mr. Thomas, Samuel Thomas, as well?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you. Now, I guess you can see me now. So.
Yes.
Now I can see you. Yes, that's great.
That's good.
I think Mr. Espinosa had a question for you. Luis, did you want to start out with the questioning?
Yeah, I think he was addressing that, right?
Did he?
Already? On
Okay.
what their plan was on how they're going to move their product or get the word out.
That's what it is. We plan to spread it through friends and families and Facebook and try to do some online advertisement.
Got it. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Edsall, please.
Yeah, I just wondered what type of wine are you making? Are you making white and red? Or
We make white and red, yes.
do you get you buy your grapes and then process them? You get them from someplace else and process them in the facility?
We buy the must, which is the grape that is already crushed,
Oh, okay.
and then we process it. It's basically frozen grapes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So it's already been destemmed, so we buy it in the bucket and just go through the fermentation process and bottle.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Do we have any other questions for the applicant? I had a couple questions, but just basically out of curiosity, that mosque that you get, it comes, you put it in a container and you ferment that, and then you produce wine. Wine is the final product. Is there a lot of byproduct or waste product that comes off of whatever remains?
The major byproduct is called pomace, which, we plan to just give it to farmers because they use it as a fertilizer. So that's basically the only major waste that comes from it. But it's a natural product which farmers use as a fertilizer.
All right, that sounds good. And then the other thing I was curious about is just kind of doing the math, the 1,000 cases per year. I think it works out to something like 40 bottles a day for 300 estimated work days in the year. I don't know, but the question is, are you going to make it in big batches at short periods of time, or are you going to sort of make it continuously through the year?
What we plan to do is make it in very small batches, because we don't know how the sale is going to go. And we have actually contracted with a winery up north that if we get a big order, they will make it for us. So we have a third party that will make the wine if we have a big order. Because we make very, very small, 6-gallon batches. That's what we make.
Oh.
Very small.
Okay. Thank you. That's very interesting to me. Any other questions for the applicant? Seeing no hands raised, we can go ahead and ask staff if there's anyone from the public that is interested in participating or have any questions on this item this evening.
Thank you, Chairman Murphy. We did receive a public comment email today in support of the application from Gary Cushing, the CEO of the Camarillo Chamber of Commerce. And since it's very short, I will just read it. It says, Planning Commission, the Camarillo Chamber of Commerce would like to ask that you approve item 6, CUP 404 Damley LLC application for a conditional use permit at 3201 Corte Malpaiso, Suite 320. The staff has done an excellent job of putting together the recommendation, and we would urge the Planning Commission to approve the planning application tonight. So that was an email in support of the application. And other than that, we have not received any additional public testimony. As Director of Community Development, I did want to thank Mr. Thomas and the representatives of Vandermeulen LLC. They've been a pleasure to work with, is what I've heard from staff. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So since there is no further public comments on this, I can go ahead and close the public testimony and open this to any comments by the commissioners on this application. Yes, Mr. Edsall.
Yeah, I just think it's a good location for this use, and it's going to be all off-site sales, so I don't see a problem with it at all, and wish the applicant well, and I'm in favor of it.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Talmadge.
I think this was a very well-prepared package, and I think the proposal is excellent. It's in the right location, as we have heard before, and it's the kind of thing that promoting a small business, I think, is very appropriate, and I wish them good luck, and hope everything works out well. Thank you, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Espinosa, please.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we can move forward with this, and I think that staff has done a good job putting this together, and it's got a provision in there for should there be any, decision to have tasting in the future, they would bring it back before the Planning Commission. So I think it covers all bases it needs to. So I'm ready to move forward with it.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Vandermeulen, please.
Once I drove around, I did think it's in a great location. It is tucked, like I say, back and away. They have a beautiful spot at the front of theirs. Just has a green belt in front of it, which is really nice. That was a little concern if they were going to have customers, because the parking would be a little further away. But for their use with no customers and the other businesses that are around there, I think it's a great fit, and it's going to be a good addition to our area. So, yes, I too wish them well on this.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I think it's wonderful to have a new business coming in with an application, especially at this time, and it looks like everything has been put together well. Great location, great business. My only wish is that I was somehow in Mr. Thomas's family or one of his friends, but I'm not. But I do wish you well, and I trust you'll be making great wine, and appreciate that you'll be doing it in our city.
Thank you.
All right. I guess we can have a call for resolution at this point.
Okay,
There's no further questions. Yeah.
All right, we're ready?
Yes, we are.
Thank you. CUP 404 Danley LLC. Resolution number PC 2020-12. A resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Camarillo approving a conditional use permit request by Danley LLC for the operation of a winery under a Type 2 wine grower ABC license in a 1,778 square foot suite within an existing industrial building located at 3201 Corte Malpaiso, Suite 310, in the light manufacturing M1 zone, further described as CUP 404.
All right. May we have a motion to approve?
Yeah, I'll move to waive further reading and vote for adoption.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Commissioner Edsall, seconded by Vice Chair Talmadge. Let's go ahead and vote. Commissioner Vandermeulen?
Approve.
Commissioner Espinosa?
Yes.
Commissioner Edsall?
Yes.
Vice Chair Talmadge?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well, so the motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, Mr. Thomas, and thank you again to staff.
Thank you. Yeah, got it.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, Planning Commissioners. And I just want everyone to know that as Director of Community Development, I reserve the right to do inspections at any time, which may or may not include tasting. Just kidding. Just kidding. Congratulations. We're very happy for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
So I'll turn it back over to you, Chairman Murphy.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, that moves us to item 7, which is a public hearing for Pleasant Valley Recreation and Park District sign permit. And we have a presentation from staff on this one, please.
Thank you very much. We're going to have a presentation by John Novi.
Thank you, Chairman Murphy, members of the Planning Commission. This sign permit before you is for Pleasant Valley Recreation and Park District. They are proposing to build a new monument sign that is an electronic changeable copy monument sign at the PVRPD main office at 1603 East Burnley. The sign will be located, as you can see here, at the corner of Burnley and Carmen Drive. They are asking for an electronic changeable copy sign, which would replace the existing changeable copy sign. The municipal code does allow for monument signs for public facilities within residential zones, subject to approval from the Planning Commission on size and location of the sign. This is an image of the existing PVRPD monument sign that was approved back in 1990. It has a manual changeable copy, so they change the individual letters on the sign when they want to change the message that goes out to the public. In 2012, the Planning Commission approved an electronic changeable copy sign for PVRPD to replace the sign that was approved back in 1990. However, this sign that was approved was never built. PVRPD did approve a new changeable copy electronic sign, and the PVRPD board approved funding in May 2020 for this sign here that it has the sign in the middle. It has stacked stone on the bottom and sides of the sign, and the Pleasant Valley Recreation and Park District panel on top is illuminated in addition to the changeable copy sign in the middle. The proposed sign is 7 feet 5 inches in height, and it has an overall size of 31 square feet, which is within the allowable size of a monument sign in a residential zone for a public facility. The sign would be set back 22 feet from the back of curb on Carmen Drive and 30 feet from the back of curb at the intersection of Carmen and Burnley. Additionally, the city's traffic engineer did review the placement of the new proposed sign as well as the increased overall size of the sign and recommended approval of the sign based on those factors and the available line of sight for vehicles in that intersection. For a frame of reference, these are some additional signs that are existing within the city. These signs are for the Pleasant Valley School District. They are electronic changeable copy signs that are very similar. 2 of which of these signs are even the same manufacturer as the proposed sign for Pleasant Valley Recreation and Park District. And this sign right here is the city's sign at Constitution Park. It is an electronic changeable copy sign. It currently has 19 different messages that are programmed into the sign, and they do change at a 10-minute change interval, which is the same change interval that will be for the proposed PVRPD sign if it is approved. The sign was reviewed under CEQA, and it was determined to be exempt under Class 3 construction of small structures. Staff recommends approval of the proposed size and location of the monument sign, and the action of the Planning Commission is final unless an appeal is filed within 10 days of their action. That concludes staff's report. Additionally, there is representatives from PVRPD available tonight, and they are in concurrence with staff's recommendation for an approval on this sign.
All right, thank you, Mr. Novi. Nice presentation and great work on this. Really appreciate it. Do we have any questions for staff on this? Mr. Edsall.
It's a question I asked before in the committee meeting, just because it wasn't obvious in the report, but the sign is actually going to replace the same spot of the existing sign, correct?
That is correct. It will be the exact same spot as the sign approved in 1990.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any other questions for staff on this item? The showing of hands. I don't see any, so at this time I can go ahead and open the public testimony, and I understand we have a representative board member, I believe, from the Park District that is available to answer any questions. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, thank you. Ms. Otten, does anyone have any questions for Ms. Otten? Board Member Otten. No questions? All right, well, that was really tough.
That was an easy one.
Yeah, that was very easy, very nice. It does look like a good sign. Okay, so then I would ask staff if there's anyone from the general public that wishes to weigh in on this item this evening.
So no, we have not received any request to provide public input on this agenda item. We did have this item presented to the Architectural Committee, who is available to discuss their recommendation to the Planning Commission also from Beverly, Vandermeulen.
Yes, I'll go ahead and close the public testimony and open the architectural review, and I understand Ms. Vandermeulen will be discussing that a little bit. Go ahead, Beverly.
Thank you. Yes, we did look at the aspects from the block, the stacked block and the sign, and we like the way it looks. It's well presented. It's going to be a good addition to the information, as they'll be able to change it frequently, much easier. So one question that we did kind of ask to be considered is to raise the block, if possible, on each side of the sign to come up to the top of the screen part of it, leaving just the Pleasant Valley Park District on top of the whole thing. There were some concerns with that having to do with cost and other things, and not lowering the sign because you need to have the visibility over plants. So overall, we like the look of it. We like what it's doing. And whether they can make any accommodation to it, they would have to decide on that. But if it stays as it is, we're happy with it. So it looks good and it will serve the community well. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you for that. Appreciate those comments. And I think we can just open it up for any commissioner comments on this at this point. Any commissioner comments? Vice Chair Talmadge, go ahead, please.
Yes, I very much like the idea of the new sign. I was a little confused, though, on Commissioner Vandermeulen's discussion of the Architectural Committee. Are you suggesting that the brick go all the way up to the top of the Pleasant Valley sign, or to the top of where the electronic sign is?
The top of the electronic sign. You go with the top of the red.
Yeah, it looks like it's, what, one or maybe two courses short.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I would agree with that comment. Then it looks a little more balanced having the additional courses of brick or stone or whatever that is. So I think that's a good idea.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Do we have any other comments? Mr. Commissioner Edsall, do you have your hand up?
No, I was scrolling on here to see if I had it on mute or not, but yeah, I concur with the comments too. As you know, I'm not an expert on what design looks like, but it just looked a little off with that you know, the line between the white part and the red part. Seems like it would look better to have it line up with the level of the brick. But I kind of felt like if staff and the people with architectural talent and on our staff looked at it and liked it, I was okay with it, but that was a suggestion that seemed to make sense.
Okay, great. Commissioner Espinosa?
Yeah, I just don't feel strongly either way, whether it's left the way it is or they add another layer of bricks to make it flush. Either way, I'm good with it.
Okay, great. Any further comment, Commissioner Vandermeulen?
No, that's all. I don't have any additional comments to that. I mean, it's a very well worked out sign, and like I say, it's going to be a great addition and a good information source. So, if it stays the way it is, I would like it if it changed a little bit. We have to see if they can work that out or not. So, I'm happy with it.
Okay. Well, under those suggestions and advisement by the Planning Commission, this is a minute item, so I think we can just go straight through a vote on it. So why don't we start with Commissioner Vandermeulen?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Espinosa?
Yes.
Commissioner Edsall?
Yes.
Vice Chair Talmadge?
Yes, how do we add the provision of an additional course of brick or stone?
We put that recommendation in when we did the architectural meeting, so I don't believe we need to do it again.
Okay, that's fine.
And I'll confirm that it's staff's understanding that we're going to do our best to coordinate with PVRPD to see if we can address that.
All right.
The mutual
Yes,
satisfaction.
and I just wanted to note for the commission that, yeah, that is a aesthetic suggestion to the applicant, but the purpose of today's approval is really to approve the sign permit with respect to the sign size and location. So that definitely could be incorporated as a suggestion, but the approval would be for that.
This is Mary. Would you like me to add some comment to that?
If you want, it's not necessary.
Okay, well, part of the reason it doesn't go all the way up is because there will be a cap that finishes it. So this is just where the brick ends, and there will be caps on either side of it. So it should end up about where the top of the sign or the bottom of the PVRPD sign is.
Oh.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry to interrupt the voting. I vote yes.
Not a problem. I think it was a good clarification. It sounds like it will be squared off, and that was important to the architectural committee, and it all makes sense.
Yes, I thank you for that explanation.
Yeah, yes, that was very helpful. Thank you. And I vote yes as well, so it's approved.
And I haven't voted yet, so I'll vote yes also.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Your vote is very important. All right, now we, I believe, are at 5-0. And that passes, of course. And I think that brings us to the director's report for this evening.
Thank you very much, Jim Murphy. Thank you, members of the Planning Commission. Thank you, Mary. Before you sign off, we always appreciate the coordination that we share with Pleasant Valley Recreation Park District.
Thank you for your assistance on this. So much appreciated.
Absolutely. Glad to help. So that was good work you guys did tonight. I think that sign will be a significant enhancement from what exists out there today. And it'll also be a great tool to share information for the members of the public, our citizens, and the district members. With the information age moving at light speed, I think that the old sign that they have is a way of the past. So we're looking forward to the enhanced technology. So I wanted to share with the Planning Commission that we do have an agenda item scheduled tentatively for June 16th. So please hold that evening on your calendar as a regularly scheduled Planning Commission. We anticipate having application in association with the new America's Tire location in front of Home Depot. So we know that when they moved out of the Carmen Plaza across the street from City Hall, they moved into a temporary facility while they tried to find a new home. And so it looks as though that'll be landing in the area that's being carved out in front of Home Depot as a corner lot on Overland Court. And so we'll be bringing that forward to the Planning Commission on the 16th.
Great.
That concludes
who was that again? American Tire?
America Tire, yes.
Right, okay.
So that concludes the director's report on the future agenda items. I did want to share with you some very exciting news, and that is that all of your hard work paid off at the last city council meeting. We had the accessory dwelling unit ordinance passed unanimously by the city council, as well as the plan review enhancement to the review process was passed unanimously by the city council. We're also happy to report that the CEQA guidelines that were proposed as updates were also passed unanimously by the city council. And then last but certainly not least, all of the public outreach and hard work that the community and the commission, the city council endured had definitely paid off last week at the culmination with the city council approving concept plan 2 for both the courthouse reuse and Edsall Park. And so we look forward to seeing those projects move into the capital improvement program. And we anticipate that the Edsall Park enhancements and construction would be in the CIP first in the next few years, with the courthouse reuse occurring probably in the next 3 to 5 years. So we're very pleased with council's unanimous support of Planning Commission's recommendations. They were grateful for all of your hard work, as am I, and I just want to tell you that I really do appreciate all of your volunteerism and efforts, and you're making a big difference in our community.
That's great to hear. Thank you very much.
So that concludes my report.
All right. So we are on for, that sounds like we will be on for the 16th. Do we have any final commissioner comments for this evening?
Just, does anybody know, Joe, or any projections of how long we'll be doing Zoom meetings? Or, I mean, they work out fine, I think, but just have you heard anything on that?
No. So as of today, we discussed that the City Hall facility is still closed to the public except for by appointment only. And we're preparing for opening to the public with physical distancing requirements, just like any other business, so that we're trying to be prepared in the event that we do open in the next 3 to 4 weeks or so. But we don't have any timing. I mean, even me putting out the number of 3 to 4 weeks is anybody's guess. We don't know when we'll be reopening to the public, which definitely includes our open meetings. We do not know when those will go back to the traditional open meeting format in the council.
Yeah, the Zoom, in the meantime, the Zoom works pretty well. I think we've kind of gotten used to it, and it's kind of nice sitting at home, too.
Well, I think this is probably our best meeting so far. Everyone is coming across very clearly, and also audibly, it's easy to hear everyone. So good job.
Good. Thank you.
Right. All right. Do we have any further comments by commissioners? All right, then. Well, it sounds like the 16th, anyhow, will be another Zoom meeting, so we won't be able to see each other in person by then, but I certainly look forward to that day as soon as it can come. I miss seeing you guys in person. But thank you, everyone, for participating. It was a good meeting. Thank you, Joe.
Good to see everybody. Thank you, Joe, for your comments. Yeah.
Right. Thank you all, everyone, and stay safe and stay at home.
Yeah.
All right. This meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you all. Thank you very much.